Hi, it's vegan personal trainer and nutritionist Paul from Hench Herbivore with an Ask Me Anything rapid fire video. For the chance to get your question answered in the next of these videos, comment down below. The Brunner family asks, can you talk about DHA, its poor conversion rate from ALA, if it's necessary to supplement, and what whole foods to eat if not? Thanks, Paul. So yeah, the conversion rate is low, but that's pretty irrelevant. 2 to 3.5 tablespoons of ground flax or ground chia would provide adequate ALA for nearly everybody. You will get the odd unfortunate person who cannot convert ALA up into EPA and DHA. Perhaps they have a mutation on the gene that expresses elongase, the enzyme required to do so. For that reason, I recommend everyone taking a 250 milligram capsule of combined EPA and DHA. So as I say, flax and chia seeds are the best source. They have higher omega-3 to 6 ratio, 3 or sort of 4 to 1. These must be ground, however, or you won't get any of the benefit. Other whole plant foods can contain a moderate amount of ALA. Things like walnuts and hemp hearts are particularly good, but by the end of the day, you want to be sure to be balancing your omega-3 and 6. You don't want more than about 4 to 1 ratio in favor of omega-6. Radost Kindova asks, when was the moment you decided to be a vegan? Having looked at all the data, I saw that it's obvious that at least a predominantly whole foods plant-based diet is definitely the healthiest way to eat. I thought that we have been eating animals historically. Is there like the odd nutrient that we do need to source from animals? So initially I went 98% whole foods plant-based, and then over time I really lost the taste for animal products, and I've been reading all the data and all about nutrition, and I saw there is no need to eat animal products, and so I was very happy to completely kick them out. Rob Ranger Guy asks, what glutamine brand did you use when you were trying to repair your gut? Also, what are your thoughts on alkaline water? Thanks. I think that the brand of glutamine you use is irrelevant. I probably either used bulk powders or MyProtein. As for the alkaline water, I mean, initially I thought that it's a good idea because, we do need to be slightly alkaline, in the bloodstream and things. But my good friend Goji, man, he makes it quite plain. He's deeper into the science than me, and he's like dead against it. So it's not something that I've ever drunk. I just eat a real quality diet, which on balance is going to be alkaline anyway. Pure Love asks, what do you think about spirituality and psychedelics? I certainly wouldn't recommend them for anyone under age 25. I think though, if you have got some healing to do, past trauma, and perhaps addictions to overcome, there's a lot of very, very good science on plant medicines and huge benefits to be had. And then in terms of spirituality, I'm very grounded in science and being able to, prove things. However, we can't prove everything just yet. It'd be very arrogant to think if we can't be proven by science, it can't be true. I mean, dogs can hear much higher pitches than us, so why can't there be other things that we can't see or touch or hear or smell? I'm sure that there's a lot more going on than we know. Kylie Fuller asks, recommendations for exercise and or stretches to improve joint health and mobility. If you're an athlete, you've probably already got your favorite stretches and things and mobility drills. For the lay person, for your average person on the street, particularly if you spend a lot of time sitting, it's low back and it's hip flexibility that are going to be like real key areas. And so I love to do every day, I do 3 rounds of the sun salutation from yoga, and I find that keeps me in real good shape. My good friend Jackie asks, what is the most important thing you would tell everyone who wants to go vegan? Number 1, get on with it, because the biggest regret I hear, the only regret really that I hear from any vegan, is that they didn't do it fast enough. In terms of health and sticking to veganism, and particularly in terms of the nutrition now I'm talking, of course, veganism is ethics, and then it's whole foods plant-based for nutrition. So we want to aim to be eating legumes, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, herbs and spices, and preferably nothing else. But if you do that straight off the bat, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure because you've got an incorrect gut enterotype and an environment with which to house the healthful gut bacteria. So it could be useful to take out some of your older diet and put in some more of the fiber-rich whole plant foods week by week by week, and then, as I say, just take a few short weeks to make the transition. When Gian Kasich, any tips for SIBO and maintaining digestive health? So for those that don't know, SIBO means small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. It's when bacteria that are meant to live in the colon and migrate backwards, somehow they get through the ileocecal valve into the small intestine. And now really, this is quite a new science and it's not something that I'm well versed on, but I would refer you to my friend Goji Man. He's got a YouTube channel and he's now got a new channel called the SIBO Hub. Last year, I actually developed SIBO myself. It was quite excruciating, but he helped me to diagnose it. And then he prescribed me a course of natural treatment and it was very fast, very effective. I think a couple of things that were perhaps quite pertinent to me though, were to not eat such massive volumes of food, like all day long, masses and masses and masses, and perhaps to leave a good gap in between meals where you're not snacking or anything. Lector asks, do you think humans are herbivores? Can we get B12 only from untreated water and unwashed vegetables? I'm asking because I watched Dr. RV, a vegan doctor who does not believe in humans' herbivory. Well, there's certainly B12 in natural environments. If there wasn't, where would the animals be getting it from? Now, I know that he's been digging into the science and he's come to the conclusion that it would be hard to get adequate amounts. He's the first person I've heard saying this. I've not looked into the science, I'm not a research scientist anyway, so what do I know? All I can tell you is, anatomically, physiologically, biochemically, psychologically, we're more suited to plant foods than animals, for sure. And another good point to bring up would be that something like 38% of Americans are reckoned to be B12 deficient. Certainly not 38% of Americans are vegan. So it's something that everyone needs to be thinking about, the old B12 supplementation. It's my boy Ange Mori. What's your current workout routine? So currently where I am in the UK, the gyms have not opened up again yet. So I'm training at home. I've been doing a mixture of bodyweight and band work. I'm doing upper body push, upper body pull and legs twice per week, so 6 days on, 1 day off. Once the gyms are opened up again, I'll go back onto a bro split. I'll split my whole body over 5 days. I'm training each body part just once per week, but really bloody hard. Bra360 asks, is whole foods plant-based keto better than whole foods plant-based that is centered around carbohydrate intake? No, quite the opposite, both in terms of nutrient intake and also the fact that, you know, the longest lived people on record, the Okinawans of the 1940s, they ate 85% of their diet as carbohydrate, so the opposite of keto. Mrs. Stan asks, vegan kids growth. Also, how does nutrition for children differ from nutrition for adults? First off, I highly recommend that you get the book Becoming Vegan by Davis and Molina. This has tables of children's nutrient needs by age, along with many examples of which foods to eat in order to get said nutrients. Calories can become an issue. For that reason, I recommend that children eat a higher percentage of their calories as fats than do adults. Of course, you want to be eating the whole plant food overt fat choices. So this is things like nuts, seeds, whole nut and seed butters, and avocados. Plug their day of eating into the Chronometer app. If you don't manage to cover all micronutrient needs, then I recommend shoring these differences up with a supplement. Random guy asks, what was your opinion about veganism before going vegan? Did you ever think about it? No. Before discovering the nutrition stuff, which I spoke about earlier, it just really wasn't on my radar. Didn't have a reason to form an opinion. Bloodsucker asks, why do you join the veganism? Well, I started eating a whole foods plant-based diet because I didn't want to be the cause of my own death. But in terms of ethics, it wasn't until probably a couple of years in, accidentally, I saw what we do to animals in order for them to end up on our plates. And I felt horrified, I felt very guilty and full of shame, and I recognised that I ate more animals than anyone, and so this is the reason that I'm a vegan advocate. Also, environment. A lot of people ask if you're vegan for health, environmental or ethical reasons. A better question would be, are you non-vegan for unhealthy, unethical or unenvironmental reasons? I mean, why wouldn't everyone be vegan? Vegan Gosling asks, what is the best way to transition to a whole foods plant-based diet if you're eating a standard animal heavy diet? Again, you wouldn't want to go from that to like a highly fiber-rich, health promoting whole foods plant-based diet. So perhaps you want to swap out some of the animal products for kind of vegan versions. And there's vegan versions of everything now, there's no excuse. There's never been a better time to be vegan. But again, over time, I would then look to drop down the mock meats and the vegan cheeses, particularly if they're coconut oil based, and just add in like more legumes, more whole grains. CT says, hello, what do you think about nutrient ratios such as copper and zinc? Are these important? I've heard that plants tend to be higher in copper and that phytic acid inhibits the absorption of zinc, which could make the ratio even worse. Is this an issue? Thank you. A lot of people get really bogged down in the minutiae, but if we snap back and look at the bigger picture, as long as you're eating a calorically adequate, whole foods, plant-based diet, predominantly whole plant foods, very little in the way of anything else. If you're eating the range of foods, the legumes, the whole grains, the fruits, the vegetables, the nuts, the seeds, the health just tends to look after itself. I mean, in nature, we don't have scales and we don't have ways of measuring like how many nutrients are in this food versus that food and calculators to work out ratios. But somehow people who eat this way, are the healthiest people in the world and tend to live the longest. So don't sweat it is what I say. Adriana Galita asks, does it annoy you anymore when friends or family try to hate on your vegan lifestyle? Nah, I just think they're an idiot who's gonna kill themselves. And now click this.